Taxable wages. Mrs. Dugan earns £30,000 per annum, so that means per year. She has a tax-free allowance of £5,500. She pays 10% tax on the first taxable £10,000 and she pays 20% tax on the remainder. Calculate how much tax Mrs. Dugan will pay. Now, in order to understand tax, we have to understand that it's paid for different rates for different amounts of what you earn. So no matter how much anyone earned, they would still have this, for this question, £5,500 of tax-free allowance. So they do not have to pay any tax on the first £5,500. So that means if you were to get yourself a little part-time job as a student and you weren't earning over £5,500, then you wouldn't be paying any tax. So then the next little bit, so for people who earn a bit more than this, then they would be paying 10% on that part of their earnings. So for the first £5,500, they're not paying any tax, but then once they go over that, the next £10,000, they would pay 10% tax. And then once they would go beyond that amount, so once they would go over £15,500, any money they earned after that would be taxed at 20%. Now let's think about Mrs. Dugan. So she's earning £30,000. So for the purposes of her tax, we can think of the first £5,500 being tax-free. The next £10,000, she's to pay 10% tax on it, and then the remainder she's to pay 20%. So if we take these two numbers here and we take those away from 30,000, so we do 30,000 minus 5,500 plus 10,000. That means that the remainder of Mrs. Dugan's earnings that's taxed at 20% is £14,500. So we can then think about Mrs. Dugan's earnings split up in three different ways. So Mrs. Dugan's £30,000 pay is split up into the £5,500, which is tax-free, so there's no tax paid on it. The next £10,000, it is charged at 10% tax. So 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. And then when you take those two numbers away from 30,000, as we set up here, then that leaves us with £14,500. So the remainder of her money, of her earnings, is charged at 20% tax. So 20% of 14,500 is £2,900. So we've got her tax-free allowance, the next 10,000 charged at 10%, and the remainder of her earnings charged at 20%. So altogether she's paid £30,000, and altogether she has to pay £3,900 tax on those earnings. Now this is a topic which is quite likely to come up, and it is something which can confuse people. People are not sure maybe what bit's tax-free, what's 10%, what's 20%, and these numbers of course can change in questions too. So you're not always going to get the 5,500 and the 10,000 or the 10% and the 20%. This can all change. But the main thing is that you get the principles behind what's happening here. Tax works in stages. Everybody's going to get a tax-free allowance, no matter if you're working in Tesco for a couple of hours a week or you're someone who runs a massive business. You would still have a tax-free allowance on that first little bit that you earn. The next bit that you earn will be charged at a certain rate, and then the rate can change again for people who are higher earners. So please take time. You might want to watch this video again. You might want to do a little bit of reading around this, or ask a few more questions about it, or do a little bit more research.